Hello everyone, this is Paula. Today we're going to look at the Sawyer scrapbook workshop kit that's in the January-February mini catalogue. This is such a fun collection. It's got a lovely array of beautiful colours, including some lovely lilacs and the deep blues. And I'm just going to take some of the elements, the exclusive elements from this, and create a best friends layout for my daughter. Now I've got 3 little photos here. I'm going to base it on the first layout that comes in the guide of this workshop. It has a lovely big diagonal stripe. That's always a little bit tricky to cut. Now what I tend to do is just grab my ruler, make sure that I've lined it from one corner to the other. Obviously the ruler is not going to quite reach, and I use a scalpel to do the cut. Now if you're not so brave to this, you could reduce the size of the triangle down to say a 9x9 square, which you can then easily cut in your trimmer and just have a nice white border around the outside. Not an issue. Now I love this best friends layout. This is really the reason I bought this kit, so I am going to stick to the idea of embellishments running along the diagonal. However, I've also bought in the gorgeous Sawyer card making stamp and thin cut set. It has got some really lovely words to do with friendship, and it's also got some really cute little titles, which you'll see I'll use one of those as well. To prepare my space, I am using one of the mats, the powder mats, just to make sure that there's no sticky residue before I do my Versamark inking. And then I've used white embossing powder, and I just take it off camera to heat set that, just so that it stands out beautifully as a lovely little sentiment below the title. The actual saying of it is best friends are the people in life that make you laugh a little louder, smile a little brighter, and live a little better. So it is a lovely little saying there. So I'm just going to pop that onto white cardstock, white daisy cardstock in the background. However, it looks rather stark, so I go off and get some of my shimmer brushes. Shimmer brushes are the quickest and easiest way to do a little bit of a light splatter in the background. So I've used a deep sort of charcoal colour and a light mint as my background, and obviously just in the top right hand triangle, because I'm going to be covering up the bottom left. When I'm adhering a large piece of paper or cardstock, I typically go for my wet glue. It is a nice, more cost-effective way to put it together, and I do quite like the green wet glue because it does have a little bit of give in it. It doesn't end up as a stiff finish. So I do often use that for my adhering of large pieces. Now I'm just going to grab these photos and trim them down to just under 3" by 4". Almost any photo can be trimmed down. So if you are one that always prints in 6x4, don't worry, because you can still do a lot of these layouts in the sizes they say, because the cropping is quite simple. There's usually a lot of background noise on your photos that you can remove. And I've used our cute little photo trimmer for that. It's lovely and accurate, being a guillotine style, and nice and easy to work with. So now, just to make sure I'm lining everything up correctly, I'm going to put on the rest of my title. So this title is Best Friends, and it's come from the sticker sheet. Now our stickers are a cardstock weight, and they're really easy to pull apart and adhere on. So they are a lovely quality finish on the page itself. Now this one is just gorgeous with that ombre effect from the mulberry to the white, so it stands out beautifully with the dark background that I've placed it onto. So I'm putting the friends down, and I'm going to put the best bit probably overlapping the photos, so I'm not quite sticking that one at the moment. Now I'm also taking some of the beautiful paper from this collection and using that as the photo mats, just to bring in a bit more of that mulberry shade, which is just such a beautiful look. It's actually a little similar to Sugar Plum that we had as a colour of the year a few years back and was a real hit. So that I'm really pleased to see mulberry come through as a staple colour. Now I'm also going to grab that card making set again, and I'm going to die cut a little tag that comes in the kit, and I've got a very cute saying, which is "No one gets us like us." Now, Larissa does have a lot of fun with her friends, and she does have quite a quirky relationship with them. And, you know, you can watch them sometimes and wonder what on earth they're getting up to. So this little saying is so apt, and I just thought that needed to get on there. And I'm going to place it over that third photo because there is a lot of space up the top, which is not essential to us, to the viewer's eye. So that's where that little tag is going to go. There are some other beautiful little sayings on the sticker sheet as well, and I might grab another one a bit later on in the video. Now I also pull out all of the Picture My Life cards that come with the set. They are absolutely stunning, and I've really wanted to use one, But because I'm using 3 photos, I almost felt like I was just going to get a little bit too busy. So although I go through them all and I pull out a few that I could use, in the end, I don't make use of these this time round. However, I've only done the left-hand side for this double page, and I'm sure there'll be use or a circumstance that I can pop in one of these on the other side at some point. So this is really a bit of a waste of time, but as you get to see a little bit of what those cards are like, and they really are quite stunning. I guess what I love about this range is it's got quite a watercolour feel, and I've always liked that sort of more whimsical look. It's also bringing in a few shades like Wisteria and Grape and Mulberry that I don't use as often as some of the more blues and greens, and I do really like that effect on this set. It works really nicely for friendship is what it's intended. Now I'm just using this little T-ruler to make sure that I'm lining up the middle photo perfectly straight, and that's my sort of base for the others to work off. I have actually raised the middle photo as well, so it's on thin foam tape, just so that I can tuck things around and under. I also only have put adhesive in the center of the other 2 photos, so once again I will be able to tuck some of our die cuts and embellishments and stickers shortly under them. It's always a good idea to leave a bit of space around the edge because you never know quite what you want to tuck under at the end. Now I just thought that little title that I'd made was a bit stark being pure white, so I've brought in this lovely splotches stamp set that comes from our core book, and I'm just bringing in a bit of mulberry. I'm doing 2nd generation, and I'm going around the edges as well, so it just again gives that softer feel to the title. So I'm adhering that one with foam tape as well, just to have a little bit of dimension. It gives a little bit of a shadow beneath it, which I always like with titles. And I'm going to finish off the main title with stickers and overlay that over the gorgeous photos. Now I'm just trying to make sure that I want that bee to really stand out in the best friends. So that's why I play around with that for a little bit. So now it comes to the fun part. This is where you can pull out all the embellishments. Now in the workshop set, you get a whole heap of additional die cuts. So that's what I'm doing here, is just punching out the die cuts that were relevant for this first layout. And I'm just going to see which ones I want to use to layer up along the diagonal. You also get the little die cut complements. In the end, I don't use those because there are so many bits and pieces that came in that sheet that I've just punched out. I do pull a few stickers in, but otherwise you really don't need all the little extras that are on that other set as well. So I just have a little bit of a play here. What I absolutely love is that mint combined with the harbour, the deep blue. I think those are really nice colours and shades to offset all the purples and pinks that are in here. And surprisingly, there's a little bit of yellow and orange as well. Now that works really nicely because the background patterned paper that I've used has actually got yellows and a little touches of oranges in it as well. And it just adds a little bit of brightness to the page rather than being too monochromatic, too subtle. And those cute little butterflies always look nice against the foliage of the flowers. So I'm tucking all those around, making it look pretty, finding little spots for them. It is just such a sweet look, and I've often done this diagonal complements thing, and I just really love that effect. Now finally, I just try again bringing in a few Picture My Life cards. Couldn't make it work. I don't think I needed it, and I'm just actually really loving the white space up the top with the busyness down the diagonal. Now there was another cute little sentiment I wanted to add in, which was 2 peas in a pod, which is rather sweet. In fact, the friend that's showing at the top left is one that Larissa's had all through primary school, and so I think that's a really lovely one to put in there. And then I just add a few little hearts and flower stickers along the edge just to keep that little diagonal flow going, but just to add a little bit more interest out into the white space area. Absolutely loving how this has come together. It suits the photos really, really well, and I'm just enjoying this. I think it's going to look fabulous in Larissa's album. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how this workshop kit can easily come together. You can bring in a bit of stamping like I have done and a bit of your own tools just to jazz them up a little bit your own way. But yeah, I'm absolutely wrapped with this layout. Here are a few still shots so you can get a little bit more of a closer look. Do take a look at our workshop kits. They have all those exclusive elements and they're so much fun to work with. Thanks for watching me today.